Welcome everyone, this is the Faceted Twist. It's a shape mod of the older puzzle Christian's Twist by Oscar van Deventer. It has 3 turning axes that turn in increments of 180 degrees. So here's one, here's another, and then here's the last one. So they're offset just a little bit above the horizontal plane, if you're holding it like this. So there's there's this base down here that never moves, regardless of which turn you're doing. And then there's this piece up on the top that always moves, regardless of which turn you're doing. Get that in frame better. All right, so it also has a shape-shifting sequence of moves that looks like this. And then I'll do that again. Okay, so the cuts on this puzzle are actually a subset of the cuts on a well-known theoretical puzzle called the Big Chop. So that's one that I think Oscar tried making at one point, but it didn't work well. So that's an edge-turning dodecahedron where the cuts all go through the center of the puzzle. So this one's like that, except that only 3 of the edges are actually allowed to turn. So that's why it jumbles. It inherits that from the edge-turning dodecahedron. And then on the other hand, just with the restricted cuts, the jumbling sequence is all that's left of the full jumbling behavior on the Big Chop. Also, the mechanism is substantially easier. So I made 2 different color schemes for this one. The color wheel looking one here, and then also this one with only 3 colors. So the rainbow one looks really cool, but it just takes slightly longer to see which pieces are solved and which are not. And so that's what inspired the second version. I made this design first because I just wanted a version of Christian's Twist, and copies of the original are quite expensive and hard to come by. And then I also wanted to make one of these because it's similar to a whole bunch of other stuff I've been wanting to make. And I needed a simple starting print to try different approaches for managing part fit, improving turning quality, and demonstrating the best way to connect everything to the core. So I've been using it as a test platform, and because of that, I made actually several different prototypes. So here they all are. They all work fine, but these 2 final versions work especially well. I gave the earlier prototypes to my son as toys, and when he saw that I had stickered the final versions, he wanted stickers for his too, so here they all are. He's letting me use them for the video. Fortunately, we got our vinyl cutter working for puzzle stickers recently, so getting stickers for all of them was actually quite easy to do. Although I think the stickers for these 2 I originally got from Chewy. So this is an earlier prototype, and then this is the final rainbow version. So anyway, these 2 use the finalized design. They turn really well. Really the only difference between them is the shape of these caps to go with the different sticker schemes. It's entirely aesthetic. And then also this one was printed in nylon instead of PLA. This one's just using PLA. I want to say this one I did with Inland Tough PLA. And this one uses Overture Easy Nylon. So this is cool because Overture and a few other companies make low warp nylon filament that actually works fine, even on an open bed printer. So dialing in the settings and post-processing the parts was more difficult, but this one actually works perfectly fine, just like the PLA one does. The turning quality is very similar between the 2. They just sound a little bit different. I'm not sure if you can hear it on camera. There's nylon, so that's FDM printed nylon. And that's FDM printed PLA, tough PLA in particular. It's a slightly different blend. Anyway, so honestly, the sound, it does remind me a little bit of an SLS printed puzzle, just because it's nylon. The sound, I think, is kind of similar, but the texture is still more like FDM. So I found that kind of interesting. Like the SLS printed puzzles have a more powdery finish to them. Let's see. I actually have one on hand right here. Here's an old one. So they have this powdery finish. And so it has a different texture to it. Anyway, So the nylon, yeah, they just sound a bit different though. They fundamentally work basically the same. The nylon one should at least in theory be a little more heat and wear resistant, although I'm pretty gentle to my puzzles, so I doubt it'll matter. They both work perfectly fine. I don't feel like it's worth the trouble of switching for or to nylon for most of my printing. It's just a little bit of an extra hassle, but it's definitely a very viable option, and I'm glad I tried it out. And I'll probably do this again occasionally, but just not often. Cool. So I guess other details. These were both printed on my, well, all of these were printed on my Anycubic Cobra Neo. I did upgrade to an all-metal hot end to avoid having any issues with the Teflon tubing, so PTFE tubing, at higher temperatures. So the default hot ends on a lot of the budget printers out there right now come with Teflon tubing that can degrade really badly at higher temperatures. So supposedly that puts out like some really nasty fumes, and it can also cause some nasty clogs. So I just went ahead and did the upgrade instead. Fortunately, it was super easy. So the printer says it goes up to 260 degrees, but I prefer not to use it. Or, well, okay, now I have the upgrade, I can do that. But it's better to not go all the way up to 260 because you can have those issues with the nasty fumes and the breakdown of the Teflon tubing that goes into the hot end. So upgraded hot end for this. Other than that, actually pretty easy to work with. Overture Easy Nylon lives up to its name. And this is the Christian's Twist. Well, the Faceted Twist. It's a version of Christian's Twist. And it works great. So thank you.